And Staples Center filled to capacity for Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals. The San Antonio Spurs up 2-0, the defending NBA champions, against the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 3. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, welcome to Los Angeles. The Lakers are not mathematically dead if they lose, but this might as well be Judgment Day for this team. A team that made additions in the offseason. They were supposed to be a team for the ages, but the story of this season is that Tony Parker of the Spurs has made the Lakers look like a team for the aged. Doc, you're down 2-0. They come home. Can you make major adjustments? Do you have to make major adjustments if you're the Lakers?
You can, but you don't have to. I think the Lakers are looking at themselves saying, we could have won Game 1. We could have won Game 2. I think they just have to be a more determined Los Angeles Lakers team, a better team, but themselves. They have to stay with who they are and do that better. If they do that, things may take care of themselves. And
finish better. There's no doubt about that. They blew a fourth-quarter lead in Game 1. Here are the Bud Light starting lineups for today's game. Turkoglu, Duncan, and Nesterovic up front for San Antonio. Devin George with Karl Malone and Shaquille O'Neal for L.A. Tony Parker has been the man of the series thus far with Bowen in the backcourt for San Antonio. Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant for the Lakers. And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Rick Fox has been with the Lakers for 5 years. He won 3 championships with Phil Jackson and Shaq and Kobe. But lately he has been saying publicly that this current incarnation of the Lakers is a team that can't find harmony and may have too many stars. But Gary Payton told me earlier today the Lakers have aired some of their complaints. They put aside their differences. They're ready to just play basketball. And Al, a win could go a long way toward restoring that harmony today.
Michelle, very much like last year, as Bryant with a 17-footer misses. San Antonio won the first 2 games when they met last year in the playoffs. Lakers came home and won 2. And then in the third game, the Lakers almost erased a huge deficit. Robert Horry shot in and out. San Antonio won the game, went on to win the series and the title. This is Parker with Devin George on him at the outset. Duncan from the baseline, missing everything. Bowen then misses everything as the 24-second clock expires.
Yeah, and if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you love that the Spurs are slowing down, playing half-court offense. Now, that was just the first possession. They would love to get the Spurs to play that way all game. Greg Popovich said before this series started that they had to make this game, at least for them, a transition game. So far in this series, they've done that.
Gary Payton. Malone working the outside with Bryant inside the Shaq. Underneath. Double team. Scores.
You're going to see a steady dose of that. The Spurs have decided that they're going to front Shaquille O'Neal. You know, the old school thought is that you couldn't do it. The Spurs have gotten away with it for 2 games. I think you're going to see more lob to Shaq in this game.
And Parker's first foray into the lane turns out a little differently than it did in San Antonio. That's blocked out of bounds. Tony living in the lane, beating his guy off the dribble, and then Shaq couldn't get over it in the 2 games in San Antonio, and he was living underneath.
Yeah, and again, a lot of that is out of the pick and roll, and more of it is out of transition.
Second Spurs turnover, 18 on the shot clock. A minute and a half into the game. Steve Javie, Jack Neese, and Blaine Reichelt are the officials today. Kobe losing it, regaining it now. 4 on the shot clock. And George on a 3-second violation. The Lakers give it up.
And again, the reason the 3-second is because everyone thought George was going to take the first shot. So all the players, the Laker players, were in the lane getting rebounding position, but he didn't take the shot.
Devin looked like he didn't know how much time was on the clock. He had a little bit more than 3 seconds when he started to dish it off again. Turkoglu for 3. And San Antonio on the board. Turkoglu, who came over from Sacramento, was coming off the bench for the first half of the season. Then they made him the starter and made Manu Ginobili come off the bench. And Ginobili's been a fabulous 6th man. Malone was going to give up the opportunity and then decided, well, why not?
Well, no one was guarding him. You know, I think he thought, wow, I'm going to take this. Now, again, so far, you look at the Lakers and we talk about adjustments. The one adjustment they've made so far is Gary Payton has had the ball in his hand a lot thus far. A lot of pick and rolls for him and post-ups.
Double team on Bowen in the corner. Kirkland has to come out with it. Now Parker in amongst the trees, and they take it away again. Here comes Payton with Bryant, and Payton gets fouled on his way to the hoop. Well, that's the other big difference in this one, because Tony Parker twice now in the middle, and the Lakers have converged on him.
And both times, the paint has had a crowd. You know, when you look at the film from the game 1 and 2, when Parker gets into the paint, there was nobody in the paint with him. The 2 times he's gotten into the paint this afternoon, there's been 3 and 4 Lakers crowding the paint. Basically, what they're going to say is, Tony Parker, you're going to give the ball up when you get in the paint this afternoon, and someone else is going to have to make shots.
These two teams have combined for 54.9% of their free throws in the first 2 games. Payton makes 1 of 2, and the Lakers lead by a deuce with 9:10 to play in the opening quarter. The Spurs 1 for 4 at the outset from the field. Parker again underneath, and that time all the way.
Just the quickness factor you can't measure. You know, everyone is saying that Gary Payton should do this, Gary Payton should do that. Again, lob, Al, that's what we said. You're going to see a lot more of that. And that's why Greg Popovich is calling the timeout. The Lakers have had 3 days to look at film. What are they doing? Well, they're fronting Shaq. We're going to take advantage of that. And this is the 2nd time already that they've gotten a lob over top, and Shaq has gotten to the bucket.
In the first game, San Antonio defends that perfectly. Not here, though.
Introducing Bacardi Silver Limon Premium Malt Beverage. 5% alcohol by volume. Flavor your night.
Hello? Oh, hi. Mr. Wendy here, going door to door to remind people about Wendy's late night pickup window. Don't you have anything better to do? Actually, no. Look, how many times have you been forced to eat lousy food late at night? Happens all the time. Why? If you go to Wendy's, they'll make you a really good classic double with cheese, fresh, instead of something that's been sitting around for who knows how long. You're with Wendy's? Well, unofficially. So is anyone else home? Yeah. Say hi to Bruno. Hello, Bruno.
Wendy's pickup window is open till midnight or later.
Street truck, extended cab, and crew cab. Introducing the 15 new Chevy Colorados. The most mid-sized trucks ever unleashed. Chevy Colorados. An American revolution.
The stars of Harry Potter host TV's most magical night with never-before-seen footage, plus an exclusive sneak preview of the newest Harry Potter film. The network premiere of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone tonight at 7, 6 Central on ABC. Presented by Degree.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by the day after tomorrow, when it's all on the line. Play like there's no tomorrow. Wendy's Classic Hamburgers, it's better here. And the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution.
Well, welcome back to Los Angeles, 7-5 Lakers. One of the things we talked about is adjustments that you have to make in the playoff series. And I want you to look right here. Here is Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan on the lobs. You're fronting Shaq, and he is the guy that wants to go help. But look at Karl Malone at the top of your picture. Before, he's been in the elbow area. Now he's a step further. That makes it a step further for Tim Duncan to get there. And that's how, so far, that the Lakers have been getting the lob. Here again, now watch at the top of your screen. You see Tim Duncan? Look where Karl Malone is at. They're moving Karl Malone around so Duncan can't be the help guy. That's what playoff adjustments are all about.
Film study paying off. 7-5 Lakers. Early first quarter. Bryant right on top of Parker and staying with him as he dishes it off, and they work it to Bowen in the corner, and Bowen hits one for three. Bruce Bowen loves the corner. Led the NBA in three-point percentage last season.
Yeah, and again, that play was set up by Tony Parker in the pick and roll. Sometimes, you know, Parker doesn't get the assist or the bucket, but he's the reason for it. Peyton post. This is what we thought we would see more of.
Bryant.
I like that adjustment because it does two things. Number one, it makes Tony Parker play defense on the post. Number two, they have to help, which will open up the other shooters.
Bryant hitting a three-pointer. He took only one three-point shot in game two. Here's Turkoglu inside the arc. O'Neal with the rebound. Talking about the Lakers and what they have to do. The other thing, clearly, cut down on the turnovers. 38 in the first two games in the series and a near one here. And in fact, Peyton does lose the ball out of bounds. Parker creating that with tough defense again.
Right on cue. You know, and that's been the Laker problem. You know, Phil Jackson has been saying they just have to be more efficient, really. He said when they look at the film, they've had a lot of unforced turnovers, but I don't think we're giving enough credit to the Spurs defense.
Case in point right there, created by Parker. Here's Duncan's first effort. Gary Payton will bring it back to the Lakers, who are up by 2. Game 4 will be here on Tuesday. If the 5th game is needed, ABC primetime Thursday. And look at that. And that brings the crowd to its feet as Shaquille O'Neal pays it off with a slam dunk and a 4-point lead.
Again, Gary Payton is being allowed to play basketball like Gary Payton plays. This is not a triangle. They're running a bunch of pick and rolls for Gary Payton, and that is an adjustment.
Shaquille O'Neal, 32 points in the game the other night. Bryant diving for it. Ball still loose, and O'Neal dives for it. And the foul is on Shaquille. But that is exactly what the Lakers have to do. The two superstars, each going to the wood.
You know, if you're Phil Jackson, you're thinking, oh, Shaq, don't do this. It's a bad foul. But if you're Phil Jackson, you're thinking deep down, that's the type of effort that they need. In game 1 and 2, Phil Jackson and the Lakers felt that the Spurs played harder, got all the loose balls, made all the big plays. So that's great leadership by their two best players.
Bowen missing. Well, if anybody thought the Lakers were just going to roll over and die amidst all the consternation and craziness, that play right there told you all you need to know. Kevin Willis is in the game. Rasha Nesterovic is out. Here comes Parker now. And Parker throws it away. Bowen was cutting to the basket, and Parker threw it to a spot that Bowen normally loves to spot up from, the corner.
Well, you're saying what Parker is thinking. That's exactly what Parker's thinking. Wait a minute. You run to the corners. You never go to the bucket. And that's where Parker thought he would be.
Into O'Neal. Working on Willis. Left hands it in. Kevin Willis, the oldest guy in the league, and there's Magic Johnson. Jack Nicholson, of course. Wouldn't miss this one, and the Lakers have their biggest lead, 6 points. Shaq is 4 for 4. Malone on Duncan. Turkoglu just got it off at the buzzer. O'Neal with a rebound. Past the halfway mark of the opening quarter. Payton off the O'Neal pick. Timeout. Timeout, San Antonio.
Again, Al, Payton involved in the pick and roll. First shot, instead of waiting, he's going quick. He's not allowing himself to be double teamed. Second, Gary Payton. Gary Payton, they're putting him into his comfort zone, playing pick and roll basketball, not triangle, and that's exactly the way Payton likes it.
16-8 Los Angeles. The Spurs 3 of 10 now from the field. Duncan has missed his first 2 shots, and Shaquille O'Neal has scored 8 points, 4 for 4 from the field.
The adjustment that I really like that Phil Jackson is doing is he's putting the ball in Gary Payton's hands, and he's letting him dribble the ball. I know that sounds kind of strange. We're talking about basketball. But when you play triangle basketball, it's predicated more on passing and cutting, not on dribbling the ball. Payton is a dribbler. That's how he gets comfortable. I like that they're trying to do that through the triangle, but give him some opportunity. And the second thing they're doing is allowing him to be aggressive, and you're going to have to live with some of his bad shots.
Gary Payton with 4 assists in the first quarter. Lakers start off hitting 70%. And Ginobili gets fouled by Bryant.
Yeah, and that foul, you should credit to Greg Popovich. You know, he was up screaming and yelling the entire timeout, in essence, working the officials, and so you get the call. So credit that one to Popovich.
Lakers have already scored more points in the opening quarter than they did in the entire opening quarter in game 1 when they were down by 7, 21-14. They only had 17 in the second game in the first quarter. Now they have 16 and had the ball for the moment, but it's restolen by Kirkland. And Willis watched it hit the back of the rim and bound to the scorer's table.
Yeah, he tried to put a little bit more on that. And, you know, you look at Kevin Willis, he has those big arms, but he has those small arms also and small hands, and he really just lost the ball.
He can still fly at the age of 41. Just had a little trouble with the rhythm that time. Kick ball out of bounds.
Never been known for great hands. You know, I played with him for 5, 6 years, and I learned quickly that his hands aren't great.
You go back with Kevin all the way to Atlanta.
Yes.
Finally, last year, he won a ring for the first time. Comes back to try to win another one. Duncan knocks it away. The Lakers will inbound the ball with 11 seconds on the shot clock. Payton looking inside. He was trying to get it to O'Neal, but he was fronted by Willis, and then Bryant hits for 3. So 2 threes for Kobe Bryant, and Bryant now with 6 points. Malone, can he hold it? He can, and here comes Payton right into our table. Everything goes down. Coffee, cameras, and all of the rest, but the Lakers are men on a mission in this first quarter.
Well, they really are. I mean, look at the effort by everyone. Devin George, Karl Malone jumping over tables, Gary Payton running into the scorer's table. This is what San Antonio was doing in San Antonio. Now, the Lakers are trying to do it in L.A.
All of our ad-libs are gone.
Yeah. From this point on, it's all us, Al.
That's it. All right, we'll say goodnight from Staples Center. 19-8, Lakers on top by 11, under 4 to play in the opening period. O'Neal, that's his first miss. Parker. Payton got a hand in for the foul. Lakers over the limit right now. Or will be.
Yeah, and the next storyline in this game will be fouls, because right now, Gary Payton has a foul, Kobe Bryant has a foul, and so does Shaq. And so the next one of them pick up a foul, then all of a sudden, Lakers are in foul trouble.
Ginobili losing it in the lane, gets it back. Ori keeps it alive. Good work on the offensive glass. Horry's been a bit of a good luck charm during the playoffs. San Antonio has performed much better with him in the lineup. Not that his numbers are necessarily terrific, but defensively and the spark he's given them has paid off. And now, call is against the Lakers.
Wow. I'm not so sure about that call either.
On Malone?
They're calling it on Karl Malone, and him and Hedo Turkoglu were tangled up going to the basket. But I really thought both guys were giving it to each other. I actually thought they were going to call a double foul and not a foul just on Karl Malone. You know, just because you're bigger, it looks like at times you're being more physical than the other guy. But Turkoglu was giving Karl Malone just as much pressure as Malone was giving him. So I thought in that case, it was a foul, but it was a foul on both guys.
Parker, and Malone has to come out on Parker, who misses. George with a rebound. And the quick hands of Ginobili.
Boy, I tell you, a rebound is never safe when Ginobili is on the floor.
Spurs are ice cold right now. They're 0 for their last 9, and that ends that drought. Three-pointer, 19-12.
And great timeout by Phil Jackson. The question is, yeah, they've come out and played with great energy, but can they do it for 4 quarters, Al?
2:38 left in the period. It's judgment day for the Lakers, and they're playing like it. 2:38 remaining in the quarter. 19-12 LA.
Hey, LeBron.
Oh, what up, Thirst?
Brother, how about a tour of your new crib?
Oh, come on in. This is my bedroom?
Right. King size waterbed.
Game room.
Plasma screen, blah, blah, blah.
And this is the kitchen.
Whoa! Oh, no, you didn't. Crisp, clean, ice cold, lemon, lime, Sprite, always at your fingertips.
Check it out. You crying?
It's just so beautiful. Show her my motto. Can our brother get a minute?
Introducing the Chevy Equinox. It's just full of surprises. An American Revolution.
You're driving along. A car pulls in front of you. Another pulls alongside. When the guy up front stops short, you rear end him, just like he wanted. It's called a swoop and squat. And fraud like this can add hundreds of dollars a year to your insurance bills. It's why Allstate has a dedicated fraud team to track down criminals. Fighting fraud helps keep your insurance affordable. That's Allstate stands. Are you in good hands?
Get into Taco Bell for the cheesy Gordita Crunch. Warm flatbread covered in 3 melted cheeses wrapped around a crunchy taco and topped with a zesty pepper jack sauce. So cheesy.
I like cheesy.
To get crunchy, chewy, cheesy, and melty, think outside the bun.
Will my car be ready this afternoon like you promised?
Yes.
Will you try to sell me something I really don't need?
No. Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Trust the Midas touch.
The girl's new principal is Kate's old flame, and she's got a date with him again when Bridget gets busted.
I saw the photo. They totally put my head on some hooch's body.
No, God did that.
Adam Arkin guests on an all-new 8 Simple Rules, ABC Tuesday.
Mike Tirico in the studio. This Taco Bell studio update on our way back to L.A. The other Western Conference semifinal. All square at 1 thanks to Sam Cassell. Minnesota erased a 10-point fourth-quarter deficit to square the series at 1. Game 3 Monday. Back to Alan Dock. Hope they're all dry and okay in L.A.
Still cleaning up, Mike. St. Nick is here, of course. Jack Nicholson. Denzel Washington is at the game as well. Steven Spielberg, who is the Drew Esseltoff of motion pictures. Drew, our director. Meg Ryan is here. Ben Affleck in his Celtic green.
There you go. There you go.
Dustin Hoffman as well. Lakers on top by 7. Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
In that timeout, Al, Greg Popovich said, we are not matching their energy. They are clogging the lane on defense. He urged Tony and Manu, continue to drive, break up their defense. And he said, take your time. We have all day. The players were talking about the fact that the Lakers are playing with unbelievable energy, but they don't think they can sustain this through all 4 quarters, Al.
Interesting point. We'll watch that. Of course, the Lakers, the older team. Malone to Shaq. Malone was open for the shot, and then he saw O'Neal coming in and lobbed it to him perfectly. 10 points for O'Neal.
And again, the adjustment is the movement of Malone. Not that Shaq is getting more open. He is because of Karl Malone. That time they put him in the corner. Robert Horry had to guard him. They've been using Malone's guy to help on the front. Now Malone is handling the ball and passing the ball. He can't be the guy. That's the 3rd dunk they've gotten off the lob.
San Antonio turnover because Ginobili slipped and fell down. Trying to cut back. Derek Fisher in the game for the first time for the Lakers. Inside to O'Neal, but Horry fouls him. Horry, who played with the Lakers, won 3 championships with them, and then last year, that shot, that in-and-out shot that could have turned the series around for the Lakers, and then signs with San Antonio in the offseason.
Yeah, just think if that shot goes in. I mean, who knows what happens here?
Well, very much like last year, where San Antonio wins the first 2, Lakers come home and win 2, and then the pivotal game 5. Malone. Lakers by 11.
See, you know, coming into this game, I thought Karl Malone had to be the key guy. He has to make open shots, and he has to find areas to take away the help guy on Shaq, and he's doing it.
Taken away again, and so with Duncan on the bench, the Lakers try to extend their lead as Payton shoots it into the corner to Fisher. And the crowd wanted a foul. Fisher got banged as he let go. No foul called, and then Parker goes coast to coast the other way.
Yeah, that quick shot, and that was a bad shot, is very much like a turnover, because quick rebound, off and running, and that's the way the Spurs want to play. Sometimes your offensive shot leads to the other team's basket, and in that case, that's exactly what happened.
Perfect case in point. As Parker, who's played every minute of the first quarter in each game in the playoffs, has 4 points. Malone is again alone, and Shaquille O'Neal and got the rebound, but had it taken away, and Parker feeds Ginobili for the lay-in.
You see how another turnover. A turnover leads to a basket for the Spurs. That's how they've won game 1 and 2. And a quick bad shot leads to a basket as well.
Bryant outside the Payton, passes on the 3. Here's Fisher from outside. O'Neal with good positioning. Now Bryant, who's hit 2 threes, has 3 threes now.
I like his patience. Kobe Bryant is not trying to take over the game by force. He's letting it come to him, and in essence, he's still taking it over with his talent.
It's a quiet 9 points. 3 threes will do that. Bryant with the rebound here. Couple of seconds differential between the shot and game clock, so the Lakers will slow it down and milk it. Trying to stretch a 10-point advantage as the period climaxes. Underneath, it's Malone from Bryant.
And Kobe Bryant instructed Karl Malone where to go on that play. He basically put him in the spot that he ended up making it from.
And Parker doesn't hit this one. Last week, you'll recall, in game 1, he hit one at the buzzer that turned a 4-point lead into a 7. Not here, though. The Lakers are up 28-16 at the end of 1, and you're watching ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
Do you have the right truck? The best-selling half-ton regular and extended cab is now available as a crew cab. Introducing the new Silverado half-ton crew. It's the right truck from Chevy.
I submit to you
Miller's Record. Miller Lite, the great tasting beer that's less filling. Miller Genuine Draft, a beer with genuine flavor that's cold filtered smooth. Clear beer. Well, Miller clearly has a history of progressive decision making, and I would ask the king of beers what he would say to that. Why won't my opponent debate this issue? Is it because he's a horse, or is it because he's got blinders on? No peripheral vision. Look at me. Both sides.
Choose taste. Miller. Good call.
We need to unleash the greatest warrior.
Immortality! Take it! It's yours! What's yours?
The loser will burn before nightfall.
Now you know who you're fighting.
Then no one else!
Troy, a Wolfgang Peterson film. Rated R, May 14th.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, honey, it's a camera phone. Two camera phones.
Oh, it's a Mother's Day miracle. Oh, hey, I'll take this one.
This year, Mother's Day isn't just for moms. Buy Mom one cool CDM 8900 camera phone from Verizon Wireless and get yourself a second phone free. Send pictures back and forth on two great phones with one great deal. Plus, join in and call each other or any Verizon Wireless customer anytime without using any planned minutes.
I sent you a picture of the syrup.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
I've been playing this game my whole life. Some people think this game is hard. I never did. This game is simple. Put the ball through the hoop. But the thing about this game, to me, it's not a game.
There's a limited number of buy one, get one free Clippers season tickets available now. Call 213-742-7555.
You're watching the day after tomorrow's presentation of ABC Sports Play Like There's No Tomorrow.
We're back in Los Angeles. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya. The Lakers, a very good quarter. In that quarter, O'Neal 10 points, Bryant 9 points, and the Lakers exhibiting as much teamwork, Doc, as they have in weeks.
Yeah, I want you to look here. Here's Karl Malone at the bottom of your screen. Look at Kobe Bryant point. He's trying to instruct Karl Malone. Get out. Watch Karl Malone come back. Kobe tells him again, go to the opposite block and watch what happens. Kobe knows that they're going to help. Who gets the layup? Karl Malone. But it was from Kobe Bryant. That's playing together as a team.
Lakers, after briefly trailing in the first quarter, outscore San Antonio 21-8. Jason Hart comes in at the point as Tony Parker gets his first rest. Tim Duncan comes back. San Antonio cold after a pretty good start. Duncan didn't score in the period.
The thing with Duncan, you know, is that at some point he's going to get involved in this series or in this game. The thing you like about Duncan, he doesn't press it.
Here's Ginobili scoring. So Slava, Medvedenko, and Kareem Rush come in for the Lakers as we start the second period. Lakers have Fisher and Rush with Malone. Bryant goes to the small forward spot, and Medvedenko. Bryant working on Ginobili, and they're going to wave it off. He traveled. Lakers by 9. You know, Doc, we talked about Duncan. No points in the first quarter. He had no points the other night in the fourth quarter in game 2. So Tim Duncan has played the equivalent of a half game without a point.
Yeah, but he still is very valuable because though he may not score, he's going to make sure his teammates score. He gets everyone involved from his position.
He's 0 for 2 today. Bounce pass, an errant one, stolen by Malone. Quickly to Bryant out in front. He gets fouled by Brown on his way to the hoop.
Now, you have not seen a lot of transition buckets from the Los Angeles Lakers. And this afternoon, you've seen 3 or 4 of them already, or at least attempt. So they're really trying to push the ball up the floor.
Bryant for 2, a minute into the second quarter. Playoffs continue tonight. Detroit at New Jersey as the Nets get home down 2-0. That's on TNT. And then Monday, tomorrow night on TNT, Miami at Indiana, and Sacramento against Minnesota. That series tied at a game apiece. It's actually Indiana at Miami tomorrow in Game 3, TNT.
Well, the good news thus far, Al, is Duncan hasn't shot the free throw. Neither has Shaq, Bowen, or Nesterovic. So the free throw shooting is not all bad right now.
San Antonio, they're 1 of 1. Ginobili took the only shot, and the Lakers 2 of 4. Brown got by Bryant, but Kobe was there to impede him enough. Gets the rebound, tries to get the screen from Malone. Rush. Malone pressured outside by Duncan. 8 on the clock. Bryant, little fall away, got it.
That's what you call a great equalizer, because the Spurs played terrific defense, but Kobe Bryant is just better than that defense on that play.
Spurs in Detroit gave up the exact number of points this season. They tied for the league lead in defense as Brown gets free underneath the score. Detroit and San Antonio allowing only 84 points per game during the regular season. Malone bouncing it into Bryant. Now there's Medvedenko outside.
And great help by Robert Horry.
Oh, and Malone, as he goes toward the hoop, gets knocked down. That's a foul. Bryant was trying to get it to him.
I tell you, Kobe Bryant and Karl Malone have great chemistry on the floor right now. That's the second or third time they played the two-man game flawlessly. I mean, right here, this is all eye contact. You can see the slip, the pass, and the trip.
Nesterovic back in for San Antonio. Horry departs. Fisher all the way. Derek Fisher, 3 championship rings. Lakers starter through the years and then gave up that starting spot when they got Peyton. And a foul away from the ball, I believe, on Medvedenko.
Yeah, I think Fisher's been watching some Tony Parker videos. Very similar. Great move. You know, Greg Popovich said something earlier, and Michelle Tafoya touched on it, is he told his team to relax. We have all afternoon, meaning if you can just hang around, at some point they're banking that Laker energy takes a nap, and that's when they can take over the game.
Medvedenko comes away with it, up to Bryant. 3-point attempt for Rush. And the second-year guy from Missouri in and out. Ginobili for San Antonio now. Nesterovic over Malone. Short. Ginobili. Hart. And Hart loses the ball. Nine turnovers now for the Spurs. Lakers by 12.
The new GMC Envoy XUV has so many exclusive features you've never seen before. The only way to truly experience it is to take a test drive like never before. A 24-hour test drive. Schedule a 24-hour test drive only at your participating GMC dealer and see why the new Envoy XUV is the sport utility with more utility. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Now it's 5:38. Thoughts of McGriddles make my stomach quake. Well, bacon, eggs, and cheese on sweet griddle cakes. Only takes one hand to put them all in my base. McDonald's, I'm loving it. McGriddles, breakfast for you, bedtime snack for me.
Excuse me. Hi, can I see that laptop?
Sure. You can access the internet all around your house. It's wireless networking.
Did you say wireless?
I'm free, I'm free. Not just a puppet on a string, no ties to anything.
Find your freedom. Have us install a wireless network in your home. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
Quincy Watson is the man.
So many women, so little time.
And this Friday,
Ready to play a game?
Naked Twister.
he's breaking all the rules.
I couldn't close the deal.
Oh!
Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
This lazy moment has been brought to you by Cialis. Talk to your doctor today to find out if a free sample of Cialis is right for you. Cialis is here. Are you ready?
With the dollar menu, I get a lot for a little. And nobody's got a problem with that.
I'm loving it. ABC Tuesday, it's the season finale.
My wife had a baby, 7 pounds, 3 ounces.
Life-changing events.
Let me take you home.
Don't push these cops to the breaking point.
I want to kill him.
The NYPD Blue season finale, ABC Tuesday. Viewer discretion advised.
You're watching ABC Sports.
Home of the NBA Finals.
My mom was the captain of her high school basketball team. Back in 27, when she played high school basketball as a senior in Wolf Point, Montana. It was a full-court game. It went to half-court after that, but she was truly a great competitor. And, you know, she had a sweater, a leather sweater that I wore as a kid. I was like 7, 8, or 9 or something like that. I used to wear a leather sweater. And she'd come out and shoot baskets with me. And her competition is always, her competitive nature, I should say, is always something that everybody say, well, that's where Phil got his competitive nature, is from his mom.
Phil Jackson has never lost 3 consecutive playoff games as an NBA head coach, remembering his mom. On Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the great mommies.
Yes, I'd like to say happy Mother's Day to my mom.
And my mommy, too, and Michelle as well. You got to call her mommy on Mother's Day, don't you, Doc?
Do.
Here's Fisher driving, and O'Neal is there to clean it up.
The 4th lob dunk for Shaq in this game. And they may have had 1 in the 2 games combined, the 4th.
Duncan back in the game, Medvedenko on him. Here comes Brown. Got it.
Well, I tell you, Devin Brown has really been impressive for the Spurs in this series. And, you know, again, he's a scorer. He doesn't care what league he's playing in. He's still going to try to score.
Talked about him last week. He's a kid that grew up in San Antonio, went to UT San Antonio. Came in and gave them a spark on 2 occasions in game 1 as George has it taken away by the quick hands of Parker. And then Parker gets tied up by George, and a technical foul is called on him.
Wow. I don't know what he did. I don't know if that's a flagrant or just a tech. I didn't see him say anything. But again, he had to say something because that was a quick. Phil Jackson really does not like when his players pick up technical fouls.
Especially in the 3rd game of a playoff situation where you're down 2 love.
You know, and especially by Devin George.
Yes.
He might be able to take one from Kobe. You know, I thought they were going to call a flagrant on that. And you can see Devin George standing there. Obviously, there had to be some kind of exchange.
The only 2 times the Spurs have been to the foul line today have been on technical fouls. Duncan couldn't get rid of it, but gets it back and then tries to bank it in, and O'Neal is there for the rebound. Bryant getting a rest. Lob goes into O'Neal and too far, and that was what cost them dearly in the first game the other day.
Yeah, I'm looking at Phil Jackson, and you can see he is really frustrated because those are the ones he does not want. There was nowhere for Shaq to go even if he had caught the ball, and that's what he's been talking about, the unforced turnovers.
Throwing it so deep, there's nothing for him to do with it. Brown from the corner.
You know, you look at Devin Brown again, and they've chosen to leave him open. I think the thing that they forget, Devin Brown, again, likes to score. So that's right up his alley.
Bounce into O'Neal, and O'Neal that time is able to save it by throwing it off one of the Spurs.
Yeah, and the Spurs got away with one because Shaq had great post position, but Derek Fisher throws the pass off the mark and leads it. Boy, that's a Nolan Ryan type of fastball right there. Can you imagine Shaq on the mound? Ooh. He could hand it to the catcher.
Lakers have Malone coming into the game and Payton as well. Fisher goes out. Medvedenko will take a seat. Lakers will inbound with 8 on the clock. O'Neal well away from the basket. And they've got to get the shot up in a hurry. And Payton does from 3. O'Neal with a rebound. Parker comes in to help. And then Duncan clears the glass. Rushes on Parker. Duncan still has not scored today. And falls down.
Again, Karl Malone pulling the chair. Yep. He knows all the tricks.
Malone inside. Mustarovich doesn't pull the chair on Malone and helps to take it away.
But that wasn't no foul. I mean, it looked bad, but it really was not a foul.
Parker drove all the way in again.
Wow, this is a heck of a little combination here.
Duncan on rush. And George comes over to help out, and we've got a foul. Lakers by 8 with 5:25 to go in the first half. Game 3, Western Conference semifinals.
Introducing Aspen Edge, low-carb premium lager. Crafted by Coors Master Brewers using high country malts and only 2.6 grams of carbs for a surprisingly real beer taste. Aspen Edge. So good, it doesn't even know it's low carb.
At GMC, we know that payloads don't need to stretch their legs. Listen to XM satellite radio, enjoy dual climate control, or watch DVDs. But people do. Introducing the new GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Is it true that you guys do more brake jobs than anyone else?
Yes.
And they're guaranteed for as long as I own my car?
Yes.
Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Trust the Midas touch.
A salad is a salad, right? Wrong. When you add fresh field greens, blue cheese crumbles, Cool Ranch dressing, and all the flavor of Chili's famous boneless buffalo wings, you get another amazing salad. Chili's new boneless buffalo chicken salad.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. What are yours?
I love this game because the arena is like a party.
I love this game because of the non-stop action.
Tim flips to Ginobili's going to cut all the way inside. Slam it!
I love this game because every player is my main man.
There is Wade. Yes! With 1.3 to go. I love this game because it's all about the playoffs. Meet America's newest super hand model.
Could I have a second just to get into character?
And now it's all gone to his head.
Hey, can you pass the potatoes, please? Are you trying to sabotage my hand?
It's an all-new My Wife and Kids, part of a full-hour ABC Wednesday.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Coors Aspen Edge. So good it doesn't even know it's low carb. GMC, we are professional grade. And Van Helsing, now adventure lives forever.
Beautiful Sunday. Jack Black is here at Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. And again, happy Mother's Day. On this 9th of May, the Lakers are up by 8.
What is he listening to?
Brian Wilson of Beach Boys fame is here. And Bill Russell and Bill Walton are in the building. I didn't see Mr. Walton when we came in. I saw
they're going to come back and play for the Celtics this year.
Yes, I'll bet. Well, Bill, a former coach. Take a look at the two guys here. O'Neal with 12 points, and Duncan has none.
And not only does Duncan have no points, which doesn't alarm me a lot, more importantly, he only has 1 assist and 3 turnovers. Now 4 turnovers. And Karl Malone is pulling all the tricks out, pulling the chair, swiping before he gets the ball above his shoulders.
Malone, all world in musical chairs.
Tough shot.
Pressure was put on by Bowen. The Spurs have only 10 points from their starters. They have 17 off the bench because Ginobili has 9 and Brown has 8.
But you can feel the energy going away from this game a little bit, and that's advantage to the Spurs.
Duncan missing again. Duncan is now 0 for 5 from the field. And O'Neal gets tripled as he goes to the hoop.
That tells you just how strong Shaquille O'Neal is. You have a guy jumping. His whole body weight is trying to stop you, and it doesn't move Shaq at all. Watch this. Devin Brown. I mean, most of the time, it's the guy on the floor who falls, not the guy Devin Brown. It's the other guy. Pretty impressive.
Foul not in the act of shooting. Lakers will inbound. Each team now at 3 team fouls in the quarter. 4.5 to go. Los Angeles on top by 8. Bryant from Malone. Malone is there. And you talked about that two-man game. What a classic example right there between the two guys, Malone and Bryant. Back and forth, back and forth. Missed the shot, put it in.
Yeah, and the reason that Karl Malone got that rebound is because of the two-man game. Who is that contesting Kobe's shot? That's Karl Malone's guy. That way, Karl Malone has no one on him, and he crashes the boards, and he gets a three-point play opportunity. Again, the two-man game with Kobe and Karl Malone has been great thus far for the Lakers.
Malone 77% during the regular season from the free throw line. Lead remains 10. Starovich. Ginobili got his feet behind the line. And then Starovich backs it out, but Bryant is there. Under 4 left in the half. Payton inside fighting for it, and Ginobili ties him up.
Lakers.
And timeout called by the Lakers. They tied him up, but Duncan said, come on, we tied him up before the timeout. Officials say no. Timeout LA.
There's a DVD. Once you watch it,
Oh, man.
you'll discover 3 times the outtakes, the bloopers, and the extras.
Who's your mom?
Scary Movie 3, only this Tuesday on DVD and video.
One day you wake up and find a few hairs on your pillow. Next day, they're dribbling your head down the court.
Get new V for Men thickening shampoo for up to 50% thicker looking hair for better scalp coverage. New V for Men by L'Oreal Paris.
Back in Los Angeles, and you know, sometimes it looks like a basketball game, and sometimes it looks like a scrum, and that's what's going on here. But watch Karl Malone. He's the guy who called the 22nd, not the guy on the ball, and that's why they got the timeout. Heads-up call by Karl Malone.
And he gave the official sign for a 22.
Yes.
Not just the regular timeout.
He wanted to make sure.
That's thinking. Bryant under pressure. Got it.
Well, that's great defense again. That's just better offense. But you can't defend Kobe much better, and Bruce Bowen would take that all night.
Two-pointer for Kobe, who's hit 3 threes. Now Bowen for 3. Deadly.
See, they're leaving Bruce Bowen and Devin Brown, and they're going to help Gary Payton on pick and roll. Now, the key for the Spurs is the guys that they are leaving have to make shots.
Jack. Too hard, but got fouled.
See, that's why you don't want to be behind him, because if you give him deep post position, then Shaq's going to at least get to the basket and cause a foul.
So O'Neal, it's kind of been painful at the free throw line during the regular season and postseason. Don't forget, Thursday night, if a fifth game is necessary, primetime, ABC 8 Eastern, Lakers Spurs. If a sixth is necessary next Sunday in the Minnesota-Sacramento series, we'll be in Sacramento for that one. That series is tied at a game apiece. Ori comes in for Misterovich. Here comes Fisher into the game. Malone goes out. Shaq misses the first of two, and here's Michelle.
Well, Al, Derek Fisher, who just came back into the game, didn't quite know what to expect in terms of team chemistry from Karl Malone and Gary Payton, but he told me recently that the minute the team boarded their flight to Hawaii for training camp, things were clear. Fisher says Payton is, quote, just a fun guy, and Malone is great to his teammates, and that these two were more willing to fit in than he would have ever imagined, Al.
Meanwhile, after Shaq misses two, Parker throws up an air ball.
Yeah, that was about a step outside Tony Parker's range. I don't think he really wanted that shot, but they went under the pick, and it almost forced his hand to take it. Just because you're open does not mean you have to take the shot.
Timeout Spurs with LA up 39-30.
Van Helsing. He's a great way to kick off the summer movie season. It has the excitement of Raiders of the Lost Ark with film's most classic creatures.
Is it always like this? Pretty much.
Van Helsing is incredible. Thrilling.
Come on!
A classic. One awesome roller coaster ride.
Jump!
Van Helsing, rated PG-13, now playing.
When you care more about beer, Samuel Adams, always a good
MC. We know that payloads don't need to stretch their legs. Listen to XM satellite radio, enjoy dual climate control, or watch DVDs. But people do. Introducing the new GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Lakers by 9. Verizon Wireless halftime report coming up with Byron Scott and Tom Tolbert. Tony Parker finding out what happens when you become the focal point of the defense of the series?
Oh, definitely, Mike. He's finding out right now that the Lakers, I do have your attention, Los Angeles, and I think right now they're proving the point by making sure every time he goes to the basket, they're letting you feel it a little bit.
Hey, what do you know? They couldn't even tell what type of deodorant he was wearing the first two games. Now they're right next to him. They know. I think it's Code Red, actually.
More personal hygiene updates and more on the Larry Brown, Rod Thorne war of words that has Byron in the middle.
English
at
leather.
halftime.
English leather?
Al.
All right, thank you, guys. I want to hear that report. Larry Brown and Rod Thorne getting into it?
It's never bad when guys get into it, Al. It's good for everyone.
The Lakers have been into it all year long. Meanwhile, Duncan does not have a point in the game.
Yeah, the thing to notice is the crowds. I mean, every time he shoots the ball, every time he gets the ball, there's a crowd, or Karl Malone is pulling the chair. I mean, there's always at least 3 guys around Tim Duncan when he's going up, and Karl Malone is doing a sensational job on him as an individual also.
9-point game. You can take a look at in games 1 and 2 what those two big guys have done for San Antonio and what's happened today. You know, Doc, it's a 9-point game. The Lakers are shooting 55%. The Spurs are shooting 33%. You would think the differential would be a little larger.
Yeah, again, and I said this, Al, I don't know if Greg Popovich is that upset. I mean, obviously, he would like his team to be playing better. Tim Duncan hasn't scored. They're down 9 points.
Parker. No room in the lane to Ginobili now. Duncan. Still nothing. But the rebound comes out to Ori. A little over 2 to play. Ginobili partially blocked, and then a rebound by Shaquille. And a lot of contact in the backcourt. Looking for a foul, but Dwayne Reichelt was right there and should keep playing, boys.
It must be game 3 because you can see right now that teams are getting a little testy with each other. And Steve Javie and Jack Neese and Blaine Reichelt are going to try to take this game over and control it.
Popovich, meanwhile, yelling at Ginobili.
You know, that's when Ginobili can't understand
That's
English.
Right. That's right.
I don't understand what you're saying, Mr.
Spanish
Popovich.
only, Pop. I'm from Argentina. What do I know?
Yes. Selective English.
Duncan 0 for 6. 0 for 7. It's batted out. Saved by Payton at the sideline. Minute and a half. Gary in the lane and then falls down, and in doing so travels. And then Ori tried to swipe it out of Payton's hands to get it started back up the floor. It ended right there.
Yeah. Again, you can see that this is really starting to turn into a series. You remember how they said they like each other and it's all about respect? Well, that's all changing all of a sudden.
Duncan, finally. So Tim Duncan went almost 3 full quarters without scoring. He's now 1 for 8. It's a 7-point game as we tick down to a minute.
And this last minute is big for the Lakers.
O'Neal got the roll, goes to the line.
You know what's funny, Al? Bruce Bowen and Robert Ory, they had a chance to take the charge, but Shaq was rumbling down the middle of that lane, and you can see they kind of thought about it, but they made themselves very small. Look at Ori. I mean, he got himself extremely skinny on that play. He was hoping that Shaq missed him.
It's like being on the Harbor Freeway and an 18-wheeler's coming at you. Excuse me. Devin George comes in. Bowen takes a seat. Switch is being made here. Devin Brown comes back into the game. Meanwhile, when O'Neal goes to the free throw line, Shaq is 18 of 64 in the playoffs. That's 27%. That's not even that good of a batting average in baseball.
Well, Barry Bonds has a better chance of getting a hit
yes,
than Shaq has of making a free throw. Than Bruce Bowen has of making a free throw.
0 for 3 today.
It's amazing.
9-point Laker lead, under a minute to play. First half, game 3. Staples Center in Los Angeles. Parker. Fisher. Bryant passes up to 3, drives in, gets fouled.
Again, really important closing quarters out. I think in the first 2 games, that's what the Spurs have done. They've done a nice job of closing each quarter out and closing the game out. Right now, it's been the Lakers who have made runs at the beginning and end of both quarters.
Bryant makes the first of 2. Bryant back and forth so much this season to Colorado, and that will be again the case for his court proceedings this week. Malone comes into the game. These 2 teams will play game 4 here on Tuesday. Then, if necessary, as O'Neal goes to the bench, a 5th game will be played in San Antonio, and we have it for you on ABC in primetime on Thursday. 1 for 2 for Bryant. 10-point lead. Parker off balance.
See, that's Parker forcing it, you know. Now, that's one thing he hasn't done. He's been very patient. Parker wanted to try to get a 2-for-1 opportunity, but it really never presented himself. And that's one of the few times that you've seen this young point guard try to force it because he's struggling a little bit right now.
About a 3-second differential. Game and shot clock. Bryant, shot clock is at 1. He's got to get it away. Does at the buzzer. And it goes over the top of the board and out of bounds. So Kobe got, in effect, the last shot of the first half. Pending the inbounds play here and a prayer. And the Lakers are up by 10. So it's been a good first half for the Lakers as Ginobili off balance. Flips one up. Seemed pretty close, but that's the end of the first half, a half in which San Antonio shot 31%. Duncan had 2 points. Parker had 4. Lakers shot 53%. Bryant had 15 points. And O'Neal had 14. And we go to Michelle.
With Kobe Bryant, an entirely different first half than games 1 and game 2. Where did you guys summon up this kind of energy?
Well, I mean, we're on our home floor, and it's time for us to defend our home turf, and we came out with a lot of energy.
Yeah, people have talked about you guys putting aside differences and spending some time before this game just kind of airing things out and deciding you just want to play basketball. Does it feel different out there?
Yeah, well, you know, the interesting thing about it is it's all about execution. It's about knowing what we want to do and what we want to have accomplished. In the first half, we did a great job executing offensively and defensively, and then we're going to halftime with a lead as a result.
Yeah, you have a lead, but they have hung in, Kobe. What do you do to hold them off even more?
You just continue to execute, and you try to wear them down. The important thing is to remain consistent.
All right, good luck. Thanks, Kobe.
Thank you.
Back to you, Al.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Bryant and O'Neal with 29 of the Lakers' 42 points. Now coming up after the break, Mike, Tom, and Byron in our Times Square studio, the Verizon Wireless halftime report. They'll analyze the first half. Tell us more about that Larry Brown-Rod Thorne feud in the New Jersey-Detroit series. First half done in Los Angeles.
The 2003 J.D. Power & Associates Award for Most Dependable Full-Size SUV just went to the GMC Yukon. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Yukon is the only full-size SUV available with OnStar.
Bud Light says, choose on taste. All we can say is, thanks for the endorsement. Great taste, less filling. Miller Lite. Good call. Oh, by the way, we still have half the carbs of Bud Light.
From acclaimed Mexican director Alfonso Cuarón.
Turn to page 394.
Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban prison.
I hope he finds me. Because when he does, I'm going to be ready.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Housekeeping.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, June 4th.
Sandlots, half pipes, half court, center court, center field, rec centers, rec league, major league, and lab. Bowl, far bowl, windstorm, windmill, sweat chambers, and lab. Earth, grass, mud, sand, schoolyard, backyard, the garden, the farm, the vet, the men, the pit, the park, the lake, the jake, the bar, bean dome, sky dome, and lab. Bennett, truckers, old school, new school, home, Gatorade. Tested in labs, proven everywhere.
Miller Lite is the World Beer Cup gold medal winner. Miller Lite has half the carbs and fewer calories than Bud Light. Looks like someone just got lapped. Great taste, less filling Miller Lite. Good call.
Enter the Basketball Hall of Fame and walk into basketball history. Visit the birthplace of basketball and explore the greatest teams, players, and coaches through hundreds of state-of-the-art exhibits. Show your skills on center court and even meet your favorite legends at live events. Bring the family to Springfield, Massachusetts and experience everything about the world's greatest sport. The Basketball Hall of Fame. It's where the game never ends. Live from Times Square in New York City, this is the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. Now, your host, Mike Tirico.
Well, how would the Lakers come out down 2-0? We've seen plenty of Shaq-tivity from Mr. O'Neal, very active. inside, looking like that check that they need to succeed. Up 10, trying to avoid going down 0-3, and no team's ever come back from 0-3 in the NBA playoffs. Verizon Wireless halftime time with Byron Scott and Tom Tolbert. Very, very accurate. It was rare, guys. Very accurate pregame analysis from you. You said Shaq and Kobe had to dominate. You said they had to hurt Tony Parker when he came inside, and both have happened.
But you know what? We know what we're talking about, Tom. Well, you tell him
right,
something.
we do.
You know what we're talking about. You know, those guys came out and did a heck of a job with energy and a sense of urgency when you talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. And when you look at this effort right here by Kobe Bryant diving for loose balls, the big fella takes down Hedo. I don't know if that was a tackle or a dive. And then the other Hall of Famer soon to be, Karl Malone, giving up his body to try to save the ball as well. You know, so the Lakers understood when they started this game that they had to come out with that type of effort.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm always right. Sometimes the players don't do what they're supposed to do. Today, they do what they're supposed to do. Keep your eye on Tony Parker here. Just keep your eye on the point guard in the middle of the screen and watch when he goes to the lane. We're the Lakers. Boom, knock the ball away. Come to the lane again. Boom, boom, turnover. Come to the lane again. This time he's going to try to pass it. Whack, and take that on your way out. I mean, he's hit the floor at least 3 times in this game, and they need to continue to do that. And right now, he just doesn't look as comfortable as he did in game 1 and 2.
Parker and Duncan 3 of 16. San Antonio down 10. Second half coming up. And L.A. playing with the desperation that we'll likely see out of the New Jersey Nets across the river in a few hours. Tonight at 8 Eastern on TNT. The Nets try to save their series down 2-0. Detroit won the first 2 games by double digits, and the Nets know they need to be better tonight.
We have to win. We have to come out and play well in game 3 if we want to have any chance of, winning this series. And, we have to protect home court like Detroit protected home court.
I've told our team we got to play our best game. That's what we're trying to do. We played our best half. Now we got to play a best game.
Every game is a must-win. Game 1 was a must-win. Game 2 was a must-win. Game 3, every game in the playoffs is a must-win.
As it is for the Nets coming into tonight's game. Now, every series that goes a little while has a subplot, and one that's built is kind of interesting, between the president and GM of the Nets, Rod Thorne, and Larry Brown, the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, going back to the coaching change with our buddy Byron Scott being replaced by Lawrence Frank in late January. Larry Brown quoted during the lengthy stop between games 1 and 2, "I admire what Lawrence Frank has done. I just have a hard time because of my relationship with Byron and also loving our profession," as Brown continues, to all of a sudden say, look, anybody can coach. I don't really know if they really thought about that, but that's basically what they are saying, and that's because they passed over a veteran assistant to get to Lawrence Frank, a much younger assistant. We should point out Larry Brown coached you during his time in Indiana, so some of that loyalty probably coming out there.
Well, I think so, Mike. Larry Brown is a very loyal person. I played for Larry Brown, very loyal to Larry Brown, love Larry Brown with all my heart. So I understand where he's coming from. He got me thinking about the coaching bug when I was in Indiana. Rod Thorne gave me an opportunity to coach in New Jersey, love Rod as well. So, these 2 guys right now are having a little rift, but you kind of love it when you have this going on in a series like this.
Who cares what other teams are doing? Yeah, I love Larry Brown. Worry about your own team. Who cares what their teams are doing? I don't care.
But Byron, he's caused more controversy out of coaching than he did his 3.5 years with the Nets.
And I didn't say a word, Mike. I'm just an innocent bystander.
In any case, every coach who was employed Memorial Day or Mother's Day last year is no longer in the Eastern Conference. These are great championship teams with great coaches. Who's the best championship team of all time? We're going to talk about it, and you can take part after this.
This halftime report presented by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, honey, it's a camera phone. It's 2 camera phones.
Oh, it's a Mother's Day miracle. Oh, hey, I'll take this one.
This year, Mother's Day isn't just for moms. Buy Mom one cool CVM 8900 camera phone from Verizon Wireless and get yourself a second phone free. Send pictures back and forth on 2 great phones with 1 great deal. Plus, join in and call each other or any Verizon Wireless customer anytime without using any planned minutes.
I sent you a picture of the syrup.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Will my car be ready this afternoon like you promised?
Yes.
Will you use a bunch of lingo I won't understand?
No.
Will you try to sell me something I really don't need?
No.
Do you like Broadway show tunes?
No.
It's peak driving season. Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. And they're guaranteed for as long as you own your car. For mechanics known for their work and their word.
Trust the Midas touch.
What you doing way out here?
Water for Lost Dog in the Mojave, $2.
I bet you folks are missing you.
Rhinestone collar in Vegas, $40. Meatloaf special in Arizona, $8.
Hey, buddy.
Feeling at home when you're only halfway there, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For your journey, there's MasterCard.
A victory is the only thing to gain, so I take it to the whole driver's lane. The trophy is the reason why I came.
Pacers Heat and Timberwolves Kings, Wednesday on ESPN.
In February, Regis handed out some of the biggest jackpots in television history.
Won $1 million.
But that's just jump change. Because $10 million is still up for grabs. Super Millionaire returns next Sunday on ABC.
Back on the Verizon Wireless halftime report, Kobe Bryant 15, Shaq 14. Lakers by 10 as they're down 0-2 in the best of 7. Well, some fun going on now from here through the finals. The all-time finals challenge. Essentially, you can be a part of a panel of 16 to pick the best NBA champ of all time. 15 experts and one vote for the fans on NBA.com. So you can hop in and say, hey, the 96 Bulls are the best champion of all time. 16 teams, well, hang on, Byron. 16 teams are seeded by their combined record in the regular season and the playoffs. So the Bulls are the 1 seed against the 1970 Knicks, and so on. As you see, the seeds, the Celtics of an old era play the Celtics of a more current vintage, and on through. And each week, people will advance too. Bulls against the Knicks, winner moves on. Pistons, Lakers, so on. Then you have another generation, the 87 Lakers, the number 7 seed. Are they the best team to ever win a title?
Of course, 7 seed.
Well, you didn't win enough games in the regular season. Look, they had Worthy, they had Magic, they had Kareem, they had so many great players. And even with your presence, Byron, they were still able to grab a 7 seed. They'll be going up against the Spurs that won the first title. And you see 37-13, that was the lockout shortened season. So here's the deal. 15 experts are going to vote on each game, pick a winner, and move it over, just like a bracket. And then you at home, NBA.com. One vote for the fans adds the 16. Who's the best of all time?
I like the 49-50 Lakers. I thought there was...
You didn't see them. You weren't born.
I did. I like the 87 Lakers. I mean, I grew up a Laker fan. Depth off the bench. They had Coop. They had Thompson coming off the bench. They had inside. They had outside. They had defense. They had offense. They had everything. 87 Lakers, without a doubt.
And you've been absolved from commenting because of your bias. Thank you. In any case, vote NBA.com. We'll be following this as it goes on through the NBA Finals. Trying to crown the best champion of all time. Will one of these two teams be a champion this year? Lakers trying to get back in the series. They're up 10. Half 2 comes to you after you watch this.
This halftime report presented by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. The second half is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Can you hear me now? Good. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, honey, it's a camera phone. 2 camera phones.
Oh, it's a Mother's Day miracle. Oh, hey, I'll take this one.
This year, Mother's Day isn't just for moms. Buy Mom one cool CBM 8900 camera phone from Verizon Wireless and get yourself a second phone free. Send pictures back and forth on 2 great phones with 1 great deal. Plus, join in and call each other or any Verizon Wireless customer anytime without using any plan minutes.
I sent you a picture of the syrup.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Introducing the totally redesigned Kia Spectra. The only car in its class with 6 airbags, a 10-year warranty, and at around $13,000, it's a car you can afford to love. The all-new Kia Spectra.
The stars of Harry Potter host TV's most magical night with never-before-seen footage, plus an exclusive sneak preview of the newest Harry Potter film. The network premiere of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone tonight at 7/6 Central on ABC. Presented by Degree.
The NBA playoffs on ABC continue in prime time. It's a heavyweight matchup as Shaq battles Duncan in a critical Game 5 in San Antonio. Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
NBA on ABC7 is brought to you in part by Land Rover.
The new 2004 Discovery with permanent four-wheel drive and optional seating for 7.
Keep your doors locked. Pretty wild out there.
Look, in the brush. A fearless Angora.
Begin your adventure at a local Land Rover Center. The 2004 Discovery, nicely equipped from $399 a month.
You're watching the day after tomorrow's presentation of ABC Sports Play Like There's No Tomorrow.
Isn't that a sweet scene on Mother's Day here in Los Angeles? Lakers on top, 42-32. Pretty sweet scene for this capacity crowd because the Lakers, down 2 games to love, have to have this game. Doc, you know, so much is in regard to the Lakers all season long. Lakers this, Lakers that. We open up the telecast. What do the Lakers have to do? You forget there's another team here.
Yeah.
So if you're San Antonio's Greg Popovich and you're back there at halftime, what are you trying to do if you're San Antonio down by 10 and cold as ice in the first half?
Well, that's what you're doing. You're saying we're down by 10. We haven't played good basketball. Number one, you have to play better defense. You can't allow them to shoot 53%. Number two, you got to get Tony Parker involved. Now, the one thing that the Lakers are doing, in game 1, 2, Tony Parker got to the paint, nobody. In game 3, there's 4 guys. He's drawing a crowd. Even when it looks like there's nobody there, he sees that gap. When he drives, there's going to be someone there, and they're going to make the Spurs, other guys, make shots. And then finally, frustration. I'm just going to force a shot. I'm going to look for Papa support, and this is the support you get.
That look, star comparison first half. 6 points for Duncan and Parker combined. 3 of 16 from the field. The Lakers with 29 of their 42 points from O'Neal and Bryant. Let's check in with Michelle.
Spoke with Greg Popovich coming out of the locker room, Alan. He said the aggressive team wins, and they're the aggressor. We're not even close in terms of matching their energy, and that's disappointing. It's infecting everything offensively and defensively. He said, actually, our defense has been okay. The Lakers should be up 20 the way we're playing offensively. Al?
Yeah, I think he's lucky. That's what Doc and I were talking about with the disparity in field goal percentage, and the Spurs begin the second half by turning it over to the Lakers.
Yeah, and I agree with Greg Popovich. You know, in game 1 and in game 2, we talked about the Spurs and the passion that they were playing with. Well, in game 3, we've been talking about the Lakers and the passion. So not a lot of great adjustments, just playing harder. And the team that plays the hardest wins. Again, that's the 5th love now. We talked about it to open the game, that the Lakers have gotten to Shaq. So that is a good adjustment.
Lakers capitalized after the Turkoglu offensive foul to open the period. Shaq adds 2. Duncan inside. He gets fronted and backed by Malone and Bryant.
And Karl Malone has to be careful. He already has 1 tech, so he has to really be careful in what he's doing right here.
Second foul on Karl Malone. Service came over when David Robinson retired. He's been with Minnesota. Now Parker can't get free as Malone comes out to help, and he throws it away. So the Lakers really helping out front now.
They really are. And I know everyone at home is saying, well, if they can do it in game 3, Why didn't they do it in game 1 and 2?
Lakers in a good spot. 39 straight home playoff wins when leading by double figures, as is the case today. Payton's going to back Parker down and then has to dish off.
3 seconds. Yeah, and again, you get a 3-second call, Al, because your teammate thinks you're going to take a shot. Karl Malone was wide open, didn't take the shot. Shaq was already settled under the bucket for an offensive rebound.
Happened before Devin George in the first quarter. Lakers by a dozen. Parker, who's been just magnificent in the first 2 games of this series. Parker won't be 22, by the way, until a week from tomorrow. 3 is Nastarovich.
About a step outside of his range.
Malone, turnaround, got it. Lakers open with the first 4 points of the third period.
And again, the 2-man game with Karl Malone and Kobe Bryant. They really have it cooking right now.
And Payton's going to pressure Parker on the inbounds pass. Parker's dribbled for 12 seconds. He's got Bryant. Comes off a screen by Nastarovich. And the whistle from the other sideline.
Defensive 3 seconds. That might be the first one called in the series.
Yeah, I think so. Called it on Devin George. So the clock gets reset to 14.
But that's a great example, Al, of the attention that Tony Parker is bringing. Usually you get defensive 3 seconds when teams are trying to help them bigs. This is with a point guard 30 feet away from the bucket, and they got a defensive 3-second call. That tells you the attention that Tony Parker is getting right now.
That is, in effect, a technical foul, and they've taken 3 technical foul shots and made them all right now. All-time finals challenge, only on NBA.com. You can log on. A lot of good stuff at that website. From the corner, in and out for Bowen. Duncan tries to keep it alive. Gets it back himself. Hits from 13 feet. (46-35). The Lakers on top in game 3. The 4th game is here on Tuesday. Game 5, if necessary, back in San Antonio on ABC as Gary Payton gets free underneath. Turkoglu.
The offensive rebounds are keeping the Spurs in this game.
Bowen all the way, and then coming in to block it is O'Neal, but Duncan is there to clean it up and put it back.
Another offensive rebound.
Spurs have 9 offensive rebounds today. Lakers have 5. George lobbing it a little too deep for O'Neal. Now he's underneath and at least is able to get fouled. So Devin George throwing it a little too deep.
Yeah.
Shaq saying, man, you got to give me a little bit more room.
That's exactly what Shaq is saying. I mean, you're taught to throw it to the corner of the backboard. He's not hitting the corner of the backboard. But again, the adjustments where they're putting the other big is not allowing the Spurs and Tim Duncan usually to be the help guy to get there. That's still, even though he didn't catch it clean and get a dunk, it still causes a foul. Wow, that's a Barry Bonds home run right there.
Oh, yeah. Crowd saluting him wildly as Shaq makes the first of 2. That foul was on Nastarovich. That's his 3rd. Willis comes into the game now.
You know, Al, we talk about Shaq, and we've made a big deal about Shaq's free throws, and we should. But when you look at the free throw numbers, the Lakers are shooting better as a team than the Spurs in this series. It's amazing.
Again, we brought it out last week. 2 worst free throw shooting teams in the league during the regular season. And another thing we've talked about, the most important thing in postseason play over the past 10 years, as Bowen makes a 3, is field goal percentage. If you win the field goal percentage battle, you win 3 out of 4. And today the Lakers are hitting 57% and the Spurs are hitting 32%.
Yeah, basically it's proven out that field goal percentage and rebounding is more important than free throw percentage. Don't tell my kids.
Loose ball foul after the Malone miss. There it is. Just in terms of what's the most important thing. Last 10 years, higher field goal percentage 3/4 of the time, more rebounds about 2/3, fewer turnovers 59%, and a higher free throw percentage barely relevant.
Yeah, well, what it says is if you make shots, number one, and you get rebounds and don't turn it over, you win. Like that.
Devin George to Bryant. Going to the hoop, lays it off for O'Neal, got fouled. You know, you look at this game, Doc. I look at it this way. The Spurs come in, they won 2 at home, they have home, court, they didn't lose home court advantage. Okay, you have a foul to give, you have a game to give. And the Lakers have come out knowing it's desperation time, and are really playing like it.
They really are. And Greg Popovich, that's one of the things he said yesterday when we talked to him, Al. He was really concerned about his team as far as will they come out and compete and not look at this game as a throwaway game, because it really isn't. After 3 games, the only thing you can beat in a series is 2-1. So you can make the case that if the Lakers hold on and win this game and it becomes 2-1, that's all you can be in a 3-game series, and it's as close as it possibly can be all of a sudden.
Meanwhile, Shaq had gotten red hot at the free throw line, now 3 of his last 4. For San Antonio, as you take a look at the guys on the floor, they have not lost a game since the end of March. 11 straight to end the regular season. Duncan showing his frustration right there. And they've won 6 straight in the playoffs. Foul is on Malone.
Well, I think
a foul is on
I think they're calling the 3-second violation again, the defensive 3 seconds on Shaquille O'Neal. What Shaquille O'Neal was saying is that there were guys cutting through, and they used the word cleansing, and he was cleansing himself with the guys cutting through. So obviously the officials disagree.
Well, we'll try that again. It was a defensive 3-second violation.
Yes.
None of the foregoing, like a multiple choice, and that's the first. That, again, is a technical foul in effect, and that's the first one of those, and they've taken 4 that San Antonio has missed. The Spurs have not gotten to the foul line on their own, apart from those technicals, at all today.
But again, adjustments. They didn't send a lot of double teams to Tim Duncan. They're sending Duncan double teams every time. They're sending a double team to Parker. So what the Lakers have decided is the other guys are going to beat us.
4 seconds on the shot clock as Parker inbounds it. Out to Willis. He has to shoot. He'll miss everything. Bryant back for the Lakers. George all the way, and then started to lose control of it and goes down hard as he gets fouled.
Well, that's what Phil Jackson wants to see. It's no coincidence that you look at the Laker bench, every single guy for a moment was up clapping. They want Devin George to be more aggressive, not passive, but aggressive. This is an aggressive move from Devin George.
George, who starts as the, in effect, 5th Beatle, has not scored today. Texas.
It really is. I know we say that, but it's the truth. I mean, if you follow a guy who have just missed 4 or 5 in a row, then the pressure's on you to make one, and it is infectious, and you do think about it.
Jack is 3 of 7. His teammates 3 of 8, and now 3 of 9.
It's free also. It's a free throw, you know.
And it's 15 feet, and that hasn't changed forever. Parker gets 3. Lakers clear the glass.
See, Parker would love to have that back. Those are the type of shots he got in game 1 and 2.
Malone inside to O'Neal, and he gets fouled.
Yeah, much too late. You know, Tim Duncan knows it. If you don't foul Shaq before he gets the ball above his waist, then you are in trouble. That's one of those ones where Tim Duncan is wishing, just hoping that he just let it go. Once he catches it, it's too late. Bam, that's a foul. In those cases, you just let him have the dunk. The 7th lob already in this game to Shaq.
21 points. O'Neal is 3 out of 7. And now 3 out of 8 from the free throw line. The Laker lead, which was 10 at the half, is 13 about halfway through the third quarter.
But if you're Greg Popovich, what you don't like thus far, even though you're only down 13 and have not played well, what you don't like is the pace of this game. It's much too slow for the Spurs.
Parker finally getting knocked down as he goes to the hoop.
Yeah, well, you read it for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, all the Lakers talked about was that they were going to make Tony Parker feel them if he gets in the paint. And what I was saying is they couldn't because they were never back. He was outrunning everybody. Now it's a half-court game, and they're doing that.
Michelle, to you.
Well, Tony Parker just got to the foul line by running right into the bigs. And Memphis coach Hubie Brown said after getting swept by San Antonio, Tony Parker finishes in the paint in the face of big people, right in their face. And you go through the NBA right now, and you don't have 5 point guards who can do that. He deserves credit for that, Al.
Timeout Lakers, 2nd of 2 upcoming when we come back. Los Angeles 53, San Antonio 40 in Game 3.
Bud Light says, choose on taste. All we can say is, thanks for the endorsement. Great taste, less filling, Miller Lite. Good call. Oh, by the way, we still have half the carbs of Bud Light.
Okay. Hey, Mike, I know you think your truck is totally sick, but this is what I think of your precious 4x4 hang out all day with your stupid friend's truck! Puss it!
Better out than in, I always say.
It may be a fairy tale.
Shrek and Donkey on another whirlwind adventure.
But happily ever after.
Donkey, you're a...
Giant baby!
Will never be the same.
Now! Fire in the horn!
Quick! Pinocchio! Tell a lie!
I'm wearing ladies' underwear.
Are you?
I most certainly am not.
That is nasty.
Shrek 2. Rated PG. Starts Wednesday, May 19th everywhere.
If life were like a sitcom, you could marry your best friend, finally move out of that apartment, have a baby, and all you'd have to worry about were the ratings. But real life isn't scripted, so change can be scary. That's where Allstate can help, by handling all your changing protection needs. Auto, home, life, even retirement. Life changes. Your insurance should keep up. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Miller Lite is the World Beer Cup gold medal winner. Miller Lite has half the carbs and fewer calories than Bud Light. Looks like someone just got lapped. Great taste, less filling Miller Lite. Good call.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-size. DreamWorks Pictures, Shrek 2 in theaters everywhere Wednesday, May 19th. And Allstate, are you in good hands?
Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya back in L.A. Let's take a look at the McDonald's NBA playoff brackets. Up to the moment. 4 series in progress right now. Indiana up 2-0 on Miami in the East. And Detroit up 2-0 on Jersey in the East as well last night. Big-time comeback by the Timberwolves, squaring their series with the Kings with a game apiece. And of course here, San Antonio up 2 games to love. But the Lakers, trying to win game 3, up by 13, have led since the early part of the first quarter.
Yeah, and, you know, again, you look at some things that are going on in this game. 1, Shaq getting lobs. 2, Kobe and Karl Malone playing a two-man game. 3, the crowd that Tony Parker and Tim Duncan are gathering every time they touch the ball. Those are the adjustments. But the most important fact to me is that the Spurs have not been allowed to run. And they need to run. Greg Popovich said that before the series started. In game 1 and 2, they did that.
Parker missing the back end. Payton had tried to lob it to Kobe. Very ill-advised and ill-timed pass. And Gary looks at the bench and goes, that's on me.
Yeah, that was a lob to tattoo. At best.
Foul is on Devin George. 2 on him. When Parker went to the free throw line a moment ago, that's the first time in a non-technical situation the Spurs have shot a free throw today. Bowen alone. Short. George with the carom. And he goes down, knocked down from behind by Ori.
Well, they're letting them play, that's for sure. And that's not all bad. To me, that is consistent officiating. You know, when they have decided that they're going to allow you to play, they're going to call the fouls, the hard fouls. They're not going to let the game get out of control, but they're going to let the players play. I actually like when they do that, as long as they are consistent. And I think they've been very consistent in that this afternoon.
George at the free throw line. That foul was on Ori. George is 0 for 2 from the line. Lakers are now 7 of 18 from the free throw line. Spurs have been to the line for just 6 shots, the 4 technicals and the 2 by Parker. And they're 3 out of 6.
You know, you look at the beginning of the third quarter, and the Lakers have not played great basketball. You know, I think the Spurs are losing an opportunity here, or maybe have lost an opportunity here to get back in this game.
Well put. 15-point Laker lead is LA's biggest of the game. Duncan. O'Neal, another rebound. 11 rebounds now for Shaquille O'Neal. Has that flipped away. Ooh, to Malone. Parker coming around. Beautiful move.
Wow, again, challenging the big guys is what Tony Parker does.
Runs that wheel route. That's what they call it in football.
That's what they call it in basketball. Okay. I was impressed. You should have said anything about football.
Brian hits. I'm just warming up for camp. It's 3 months away. That's all.
Well, how does Al know that?
And Devin George reaches in. And let's go back to that wheel route.
It's funny. It's the same call. Look, you see Ginobili cut through, and this is the dribble handoff or just handoff. It's basically a wheel, and that's how Tony Parker gets it. See Shaq, but that doesn't stop him. I knew there was something that could bring the two sports together.
Doc, thank you for the props. You know, I started the season thinking Ray Felix was still playing. Ori at the free throw line. Four and a half remaining, third quarter.
Again, you know, if you're a coach, if you're Phil Jackson, you're looking at this lead and you're thinking, not the way I want it. You know, we could be up more. If you're Popovich, you're thinking, we're still right in this game.
Anything but a blowout, and of course it's the NBA, the regular season and postseason very much the same. 13-point lead, 4.5 to go in the third. How many times have you seen that overcome? A million?
A million. We saw it last night in Minnesota.
Yeah, 4 minutes left in the game. Bryant in and out. And then Duncan, who was pressured by Bryant to rush back to Kobe, and that's a big-time turnaround.
That is, and Kobe Bryant made that play. And it's another reason why, when you're a coach, you tell your big man to pick the ball up and give it to a guard.
Timeout, San Antonio. Kobe Bryant has 20 points to go with O'Neal's 21 and Malone's 10. Here it is again.
Yeah, all caused by Kobe's pressure on Duncan. He saw a big man with the ball. He put pressure on him, made him turn it over, and then gets it back and makes the three.
3:55 left in the third. The Lakers are up by 16.
Hey, yo, Thirst, let me get a Sprite.
No doubt. What's better than Sprite when it's hotter than a devil's drawers out?
Oh, here he goes.
I'm serious. That thirst-quenching lemon lime hitting the back of your throat. Splatter out. Really? Name one thing that's better. You can't. There is nothing better. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I defy you to name one thing. All right. Name two. Show him my motto. Hey, girl. Throw it in reverse for Thirst.
Will my car be ready this afternoon like you promised?
Yes.
Will you try to sell me something I really don't need?
No.
Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Trust the Midas touch.
Handle to Gervin down low. Gervin takes the shot. Good. 33.
Moses. Shoot it, Moses. He's got him. He's shooting. David Robinson with the ball.
Later catches, dribbles, shoots.
I am not a role model.
One thing I could do is swing a rock.
It all comes down to this. Holy Toledo.
He's put together a really nice run here. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Ooh, that hurt. Hey, look, what's this? Someone's entered the arena. Get that guy out of here for crying out loud.
It's back on time.
I'll tell you, he doesn't see him. This could get ugly. Oh! Oh, my. I have no words for what we've just seen. I'm speechless. Utterly incomprehensible.
On DVD, mankind has always feared
I wonder what they're trying to tell us.
what it does not understand.
Where is my daughter?
I am your daughter.
Scary Movie 3. Own it this Tuesday on DVD and video.
The stars of Harry Potter host TV's most magical night with never-before-seen footage, plus an exclusive sneak preview of the newest Harry Potter film. The network premiere of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone tonight at 7, 6 Central on ABC. Presented by Degree.
Back at Staples Center, Lakers leading 60-44, and I'm joined now by Jamie Foxx, who's going to be hosting the ESPYs this year, and also has a new movie coming out, Breaking All the Rules. But you just told me you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, so what are you doing here?
Because I'm a huge Payton fan and Shaquille O'Neal fan. I know where my heart is, but when we can't make it, then I come root for them. And I know Gary been having it hard, you know what I'm saying, but I know they're going to pull through, he's going to do his thing, and he's going to get that ring.
You think that he's been made the scapegoat unfairly?
Yeah, of course. I just think it's like you need somebody to blame, but Gary's a man. He takes the fingers or whatever like that, but he know he's a superstar. He's gonna eventually be one of the best point guards to ever play the game. He know the deal.
Well, now that Dallas is out of it, I'm assuming you're rooting for this team. What did you think when they were down 0-2?
I just think it's just a matter of getting into the flow. You know, when you eat so much and you're already full, you got 3 championships. It's kind of hard to get hungry when you got that. So this will make him hungry. Gary's definitely hungry. I just got to talk to his wife and everything, and he's definitely ready. He's on point, so he's ready to do his thing.
What do you make of this first half? I mean, they came out with such incredible energy.
Hey, you can't count them Lakers out, man. That big boy Shaquille O'Neal and them, man, he eats, man. And when you give him when you feed him, that's it.
You know, he told us once, as long as you keep feeding the dog, he'll be happy.
Exactly. You got to feed that big man, and you got to let Gary get into the flow, and then you let that Kobe do that sniper thing he does, and then you got it.
Okay, last thing I'm going to ask you. Doc Rivers, you know, is new head coach of the Celtics. What do you think of the Boston Celtics, Jamie?
Well, they used to hurt my feelings back in the 80s when they was going up against the Lakers, you know, when I was rooting for Magic and everything like that. But I think they got a great coach in him, and it's going to be all right.
You just totally kissed up to Doc. You realize that,
I got to, because that's my man. You know what I'm saying? I want him to do his thing, and I want him to be successful because he's a good guy.
All right, good luck with the new movie. We'll see you at the ESPYs.
Go check it out, and check out Breaking All the Rules, and the ESPYs going to be hot.
Thanks, Jamie. Back to you guys.
All right, Michelle. Meanwhile, the big dogs enjoying about a 5-course meal right now.
Yes, they are.
The Shaq has 23 points. And now from the outside. side, Devin George to make it a 20-point lead with Malone on the bench and Magic exultant.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You watch this third quarter, and the Spurs or the Lakers were not really into it. But the Spurs had to be to get back in this game, and they may have lost a golden opportunity.
And O'Neal with the clean block. Out in front to Payton. And Gary puts it in. And it counts, and he's fouled.
This game reminds me so much of Game 3 last year when the Lakers were down 2-0. But first, Devin George makes a shot. Another block shot by Shaq. More attention to Tony Parker and getting Payton involved. One of the things Gary Payton did when they started the season was he led the break. And this afternoon, he's done that several times again.
The Lakers in one fell swoop are going from the obituary page back to the sports section.
Yeah, and we said that before the game. All the Spurs did was win their 2 home games. Now it's the Lakers' turn, and it looks like they're going to win the first game. So the Spurs are thinking that's okay. We come in Game 4. If we can win that, then we're still in good shape.
Payton, three-point play. Malik Rose makes his first appearance of the series. One-time starter for the Spurs. In here with Ginobili, Parker, Devin Brown, and Duncan. Brown drives, and he gets the basket, and he gets fouled as they try to get it back to 20.
Yeah, Devin Brown continues to play well. You know, we talked about Gary Payton, and there's been so much stuff about Gary Payton, and now we talked about this yesterday. I think it's been really unfair to Payton to use his career numbers against his playoff numbers in this series, because in the past, he's always been the go-to guy, the guy that's gotten 30 shots, and in this series, it's not the same.
And I was there yesterday. I got to tell you something. I mean, I see the way that gets played with sound bites and all this nonsense. It's so much crap. It really is. I mean, look, you know, Gary does a lot to it to himself. But for crying out loud, you ask the guy 10 questions, the same question asked 10 different ways.
Yeah, and, you know, I didn't mind, and I think Bill Jackson probably didn't mind it either, that he showed some emotion and said, listen, point at me. Do what you want about me. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go out and play the game. They brought him in here to be a role player, not to be a star, and he's trying his best at that. But you can never use a starter's numbers against another guy's numbers if he's not the focal guy.
I'm always fascinated. 3,000 miles away, somebody's not there. You see enough sound bites, and all of a sudden, you can either write a column about it or do 40 seconds of a sound bite, and it just gets... I mean, look, everybody's always talking about things getting blown out of proportion. That was. Here's Duncan. But not, you know, I mean, Gary's been going through this all season long. So what was really new?
And he has not played well. Let's not, you know, he shot 22% going into this game, but there's only been about 3 or 4 shots per game. That's not a lot.
Luke Walton in the game for the first time, and with his dad looking on, he misses that shot. Brown comes away with it. 1:40 remaining in the third period. Foul inside on Walton.
You know, one of the things, you look at this game, and we see 21-point lead, but we've also seen the Lakers give up leads. And, you know, there's 1:34 left in this quarter. The Spurs are thinking, if we can cut 4 points, 4 or 5 points off this lead before the quarter, then we have a chance, at least, of getting back in the game.
Reminder, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, hosted by the Stars. That's tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 6 Central, here on ABC. Rose makes 1 of 2, 70-50, LA by 20 with 1.5 minutes to play, third period. Rush. Walton now will slow it up. And Malone missing underneath, but getting fouled in the process.
And now that we've gotten that off our chest out, we can go back to the game.
Yeah, Doc, why not? Hey, we're always getting critiques.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait till Michelle gets to Monday night.
Oh.
Stop the subscriptions, Michelle. No, we have Michelle Tafoya going to join us, as many of you know, on Monday Night Football this year. Very much looking forward to it.
I am too, and I will be critiquing.
You will be critiquing it? You'll be in training camp with the Celtics?
I have a feeling I'm going to be very strongly critiqued, not only by the audience, but by some guy in Boston who's going to be watching.
That's true.
So that makes Doc fair game, too, next year when he's head coach of the Celtics. Right back at you, Pally.
I hear you.
Hey, we're going to open up our Monday night on a Thursday this year, Indianapolis against New England. So just about the time to start training.
Yes, I'll be there.
We'll start working on the wheel routes with it.
Yes.
71-50, Lakers by 21. Rose, and Malik Rose drains one from 15.
Isn't it amazing? You can sit. I mean, Malik Rose hasn't played at all and probably was sitting there thinking that he wouldn't play. And he comes in, catches the ball, and makes his first shot.
Stolen by the Spurs, and Brown is free and jams it in, and now it's a 17-point lead.
See, exactly what we were talking about. Now, I look over at the bench right on that, and I look at Phil Jackson, and he's up. See, he knows what's going on. He's thinking, guys, it's never safe, and you cannot allow this team to sneak back in. Ginobili with the great hands to Brown, and he gets the dunk. And again, all they wanted to do was cut 4 or 5 points off that lead, and they're about to do it.
Now Walton is at the free throw line. Of all the crazy numbers today, Devin Brown leads San Antonio in scoring with 12 points. He came off the bench. Ginobili has 10. Dad breathes a sigh of relief. You never know when any Laker goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
Walton, first-round pick, played for Lute Olson at the University of Arizona. Crowd pop salutes him. 73-54, 19-point Laker lead. And the foul is on Rush.
And now all of a sudden the whistle is blowing a lot. You know, the ref sensed that one moment where it looked like the game was starting to get out of control, and now they're bringing this game back under control.
$18-point game. Final minute of the third quarter. Lakers trying to make it 2-1 San Antonio. It'll be a third straight home victory as Fisher takes it all the way, goes to the deck, and goes to the free throw line.
Literally all the way. I mean, they pressed him the entire way up the court, and he just decided, I'm going to break the press, and I'm going to take it up, I'm going to split 2 bigs, and I'm going to get to the bucket.
All-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune into the NBA TV playoff show. It's called Destination Finals. It's every weeknight on NBA TV. 601 on DirecTV, Doc. 601.
Thank you. I've been looking.
All basketball all the time. Half minute to go. Third period. Lakers by 20. Ginobili. That's a 3. That's at 17. The Lakers will take as much of the clock as they can. Slight differential. Second and a fraction between shot and game. Bryant wants Malone to go to the baseline. Call complies and then comes back out to set the screen. And Kobe throws it underneath and throws it away to Rose. And then Fisher comes in from behind and knock it away with 2.4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And San Antonio will inbound.
Yeah, they missed this one. They missed this one. I thought that ball bounced off of Rose.
So they inbound a 3 would make it a 14-point game. 2.4 seconds as Perkalou gets ready to inbound. To Rose. He puts one up. And it's a 17-point game. So at the end of 3, the Los Angeles Lakers 75, the San Antonio Spurs 58. The presentation of the NBA on ABC will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Mike.
My car makes me feel like everyone wants to be me.
The Camry XLE.
Introducing Aspen Edge, low-carb premium lager. Crafted by Coors Master Brewers using high country malts and only 2.6 grams of carbs for a surprisingly real beer taste. Aspen Edge, so good, it doesn't even know it's low carb.
Listen, Doc, I really love her, but she definitely has commitment issues. She loves me, then she leaves me for 3 years, then she comes back to me. Now she can't make up her mind.
Tim, are you connecting emotionally?
I'm a pretty emotional guy, Doc.
You know, come to think of it, I remember what she was like back in '83.
What are you saying?
You don't honestly think. I mean, the trophy has been with others.
I'm not listening. La, 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 la. I can't hear you. La, 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 la.
The Stanley Cup playoffs.
On ABC.
The Lightning battle the Flyers in a pivotal Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Stanley Cup Playoffs presented by Nextel. Saturday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC.
NBA on ABC7 is brought to you in part by Lincoln Mercury.
Mercury Mountaineer. Front and rear independent suspension. Power adjustable foot pedals with memory. Disappearing third row seat. $245 a month.
Fourth quarter begins. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Los Angeles. Lakers up by 17. Let's take a look at the All-State good hands plays. And the key guy, Doc, is Big Shaq.
Yeah, it is. It's Karl Malone and Shaq. I mean, it's been the two-man game between those two. It's more about adjustments. You know, find Karl Malone. That guy can't help on Shaq. Karl Malone, in turn, didn't find Shaq. Great hands by Shaq catching the ball.
What a pass that was by Malone, too.
It really was. I mean, he is a great passer, but again, we talked about it, Al. He's played with John Stockton, maybe, or is the best passer of all time. I don't think Malone ever got credit for his passing.
Shaq starts the fourth quarter. Rick Fox in. Let's check in with Michelle.
In that last huddle, Greg Popovich said all that's important now is to try to do everything we've done all year. This quarter, whether we win or lose the game, will make a huge difference for the rest of the series. Whether we win or not important. It's about playing the way we've played all season and seeing how things come out. Doc, you agree?
Yeah, I do. You know what he's saying is, listen, guys, I don't know if we're going to win this game or not, but if we can get back in this game, if we can stand up to this Laker run and prove to ourselves that we do belong and can beat them, then we have a chance of winning Game 4. Greg Popovich is doing two things. He's trying to give them hope for Game 3, but give them more hope for Game 4.
Offensive foul on Payton. And along those lines, as Ginobili launches the three and gets it, you're right, Doc. I mean, if you get blown out, then you begin to think, oh, you know, we don't have that much of a chance in Game 4. Then you lose Game 4, it's a best of 3 again.
Exactly. And already, look at the score, Al. The Spurs, you can make a point, are back in this game.
Duncan, back outside. Ginobili. That would have really put him back in the game. This could, too, but Turkoglu passes it up. They work it around to the other side again.
Now, all of a sudden, who is hustling? Who's getting all the loose balls? This is how the Lakers got the lead, and this is how the Spurs are getting back in this game.
Crowd can feel it as well. Duncan to Brown driving. And again, they control the glass. Ginobili. This will be their 5th shot, and he can't even get that one away. They had 4 offensive rebounds. Payton to Medvedenko, and that won't go either.
No, and that's a bad break. You know, you have a 3-on-2, and the 5 stops and takes a jump shot. Sure.
Perkalo missing, and O'Neal with a rebound. Boy, San Antonio with every chance.
They're dodging him, I'm telling you right now.
Major. Payton. And they're going to call that a trip. A trip. It's sticking his foot out on Brown.
This game has an uneasy feeling right now if you're a Laker fan, because you know the Lakers have played great basketball. They're looking up. It's only a 14-point game. And right now the team with all the energy is a team down 14.
Bryant on the bench. He gets his rest here. Jack bouncing it out to Fisher. He's going to drive all the way. Doesn't get the bounce. Back come the Spurs. 10 minutes left. Duncan fouled as he goes through the lane. Foul on Fox. And that's Tim Duncan. Now Duncan missed some time about 2 months ago. Gimpy legs. So every time he goes down and gets up gingerly.
Yeah,
San Antonio holds its breath.
The whole city. I mean, if obviously his importance is you can't understate it. And he did have some knee problems, you know, in a lot of a strange way. It was a turnaround for the Spurs, because it's when they actually start playing better and let those other guys know that they can play also.
Learn to play without him. 8 points for him. It's the first time he's been to the line today. Now Kobe's going to come back into the game with 9:57 to play. And again, we go to Michelle.
One more thing that Greg Popovich said in that huddle, Al. He said, we played better than it looked, save for the free throw shooting. We all know we're the worst free throw shooting team in the history of the Western world. So from now on, just let that sucker fly up there, and let's at least rebound the missed free throws, Al.
What about the Eastern world?
Yeah, my goodness.
Why just stop there? Why make it a hemispheric thing? 12-point game. Medvedenko, boy, he can't pass up that.
No, he can't. And he wouldn't either. That's what Phil Jackson would tell you.
Payton guarding Devin Brown. Perkalo from outside the arc. Another offensive rebound. And then taken away underneath by Fisher. Payton for three.
Back in control. I tell you, though, you know Greg Popovich is thinking we had ample opportunity to get back in this game.
Payton not quite lighting it up, but doing a heck of a lot more today than he's done in some time. 13 for Gary. And the Lakers with 9:13 to play are up 80-63.
My science project is about butterflies and their life cycle.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Very good.
And pressure is applied to water, it creates waves.
Nice work.
It's a Civic.
Not just any Civic, a gasoline electric hybrid Civic.
Where does the cord go?
You never have to plug it in.
How did you get this into the gym?
The gasoline electric Civic Hybrid from Honda.
Did your parents help you with this?
This spring, get a lesson in the art of breaking up.
And you say, hey,
I want to break up with you.
What? And then you bounce.
From the man who wrote the book, Jamie Foxx.
Someone in love could bite through her own flesh. You want some hot sauce?
Gabrielle Union.
Tell me your canapé.
It's a plastic pony. I have on some chaps. You go first. I gotta work mine out.
Morris Chestnut.
You can't let pugs drink. They got little bitty kittens.
Breaking all the rules.
I don't know what kind of freaky stuff you been. You got my drawers on?
Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
Get into Taco Bell for the cheesy Gordita Crunch. Warm flatbread covered in 3 melted cheeses, wrapped around a crunchy taco and topped with a zesty pepper jack sauce. So cheesy.
I like cheesy.
To get crunchy, chewy, cheesy, and melty, think outside the bun.
Is it true that you guys do more brake jobs than anyone else?
Yes.
And they're guaranteed for as long as I own my car?
Yes.
Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Trust the Midas touch.
Jim at a couple seminar? It could lead to Jim's marriage hitting the wall. Open up new doors.
I trust you!
Or open up a can of worms.
I'd like a new partner, please.
According to Jim, all by Less Than Perfect. All new, all starting at 9/8 Central ABC Tuesday. There's a fine line between love and obsession.
Jesse sent the wrong girl home.
Trish is back.
Oh my God, I might have a stalker.
When she crashes the bachelor's date.
Come spend the night with me.
All new after the Women Tell All special, ABC Wednesday.